Hello Fellow-litas, and to those of you living in the US, also I want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. This is the second year that I've had this sort of Thanksgiving arrangement. Just like 2 years ago, for this Thanksgiving, my spouse is off at the in-laws' house getting everything ready, and I'm home alone with time to kill for the next couple of hours before I get to go stuff my face. So I thought I would put on a cord that I have been planning for literally years. Thanksgiving would probably be my favorite holiday, at least neck and neck with Halloween, if it weren't for the whole like colonial erasure aspect of the holiday. So before I get too into celebrating the pies and the fun and the family part of it, I do want to acknowledge that I'm on Ohlone land in the Bay Area. I've paid Shuumi, which I think I'm probably mispronouncing a little, but Shuumi is a land tax that the native population has asked that non-natives living on native land pay every year. There is a suggested amount based on where on the land you are, how many bedrooms and stuff are in your home, whether you rent or own or are renting out, and based on their recommendation you can pay more or less, whatever feels right for you with your financial situation. But with all of the territorial disputes and ongoing genocides in the world right now, it just felt kind of tone deaf to do a Thanksgiving thing without acknowledging the very real benefits that I am reaping from past colonialism in the United States. So please look up what Shuumi is. I'm putting some links in the description below if you've got something like it where you're from. If you live in Canada or the US, you probably have an organization near you that is doing something like collecting Shuumi. Might be called something else because this is the version for the Ohlone language, so it might be called something else where you are, but I really highly recommend doing it. I would urge you to do it, even if it's well below the suggested amount, because it is the right thing to do. We're pretty much all living on native land, so it's the least we can do, right? I also want to say thank you to all the love the horrific McDonald's cord got from all of y'all. I did not expect so many people to actually like that, and I did not expect that to be my most successful video ever by YouTube's metrics, but here we are. If you're new to my channel or just found me recently, hello, hi, I'm LED. I'm 6 feet tall, I am plus size, and I am a Lolita, which means that I've got muscles on top of all of my curves and stitch. Because I'm a pro wrestler also. I have pro wrestling content on this channel. I've been doing mostly Lolita for a while. It's gonna be a mix moving forward. I have lots of plans for 2024, but please stick around. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully this will be my second actual video for the year. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, with my content changing, I would really love to know what y'all want to see from me in terms of Lolita fashion content. I don't really have the ability to do 3 cords with one dress anymore. I've got some tutorial ideas, I've got dress reviews that I could do, but I think given the ease of making that horrible cursed McDonald's cord video, I kind of just want to do themed cords and like talk about them and talk about the items I'm wearing as part of them. So this is my effort to shift in that direction. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if there's any theme in particular you want to see me tackle. I was super sick for Halloween and I'm still getting over it, so if I'm a little froggy, that's what's going on there. So I didn't get to wear the coordinate that I'd actually planned for Halloween. It is like the opposite of the McDonald's cord. Where Ronald McDonald was cursed, this cord would have been blessed. But I didn't get to do it. If you want to see that, I will play catch up. I will do that somewhere here. You just gotta let me know in the comments. I'll give you a hint. This view right here contains the inspiration for the cord. All of this. Can you guess? Can you guess what it would be? I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. All right, so Patisserie in the Forest, aka Morino Patisserie. This is a Metamorphose release. They have released this print many times. They have done several different colors and sizes, and I have a history with this dress. I kid you not when I say that I have bought this dress 4 times. twice in the mustard yellow, twice in the green, once at least in the non-plus size version because I was an idiot and didn't read the fine print enough. And up until this dress, at this point, I have resold it every single time because I needed the money and it wasn't anywhere near the Thanksgiving holiday, so I couldn't justify keeping it. As far as I know, Meta actually has this dress in mustard in stock in the plus size on their website right now when this video comes out. So if you love this dress, even if it is a little after Thanksgiving or whatever, you could wear it to a Christmas feast. It's going to be awesome. This dress has ivory accents and this incredible feast of delicious confections, pies, tarts, and like squirrels and chipmunks all over it. It's also got this incredible faux fur collar thing, which I'm obsessed with. The collar is removable, though I will be wearing it with the collar today because I am extra like that. And on the back side, it's got this incredible bustle skirt. This cut of dress is pretty much my favorite from Meta. So yes, I finally have it in my preferred colorway in the size range I need, and I am going to coordinate it for Thanksgiving. Finally, it's only taken me 3 years. I also got this lovely casual cupcake petticoat from Me Likes Tea. This was custom sized for my waist measurement of 102 centimeters to 110 centimeters. It's super comfortable. I got the voile instead of the usual organza, and I just think that this fabric is a lot softer. It's still totally synthetic, but it's so much softer, and I've been having so many sensory issues in connection with all my chronic stuff. I needed something to make wearing Lolita easier for me. So I got this petticoat. I've tried it on a couple of times already. My other Me Likes Tea petties had all been made for the larger end of the set sizes that they usually do have in stock. So like the 90 centimeter to 100 centimeter range, and that would fit me just fine. But lately, since I've gained some weight, it has been feeling really uncomfortable, especially under other skirts. To have two waistbands hitting me at the same place, ugh, I do not like it. So this is going to enable me to wear Lolita a lot more often and be a lot more comfortable for longer periods of time. I'm super excited, and I'm actually thinking of remaking all of my petticoat styles in this fabric, in this larger waist style, maybe even getting one of them with the cami strap to make it like a full dress slip version, because that is something Me Likes Tea does. Comfort is so important. Now, before I change into this baby and do the thing, I wanted to talk about a recent hack that I have learned that I think will be very helpful to a lot of you plus size Lolitas out there. We all know by now that Meta dresses have this incredible extra amount of fabric at the end of their straps. And I've always been the type of person, because I am 6 feet tall, who has moved the buttons down for dresses that I am intending to keep forever. Now, I recently realized I've been doing a lot of extra work. When you move the buttons down, you have to unpick the thread that's holding the buttons on. You have to re-sew the buttons in the new placement. You've got little holes up where the buttons had been. And then if you do ever want to sell it or put it on a friend who's, smaller, or if you lose weight or whatever, then you have to move the buttons back. And then you leave little holes in the place where you had moved the buttons to. Also, no matter what, you're left with holes in your dress. And it's a lot of work, and it's a pain in the butt, and I don't think anybody really enjoys doing this. But then I had an epiphany. What if, instead of moving the buttons that came with the dress, you just added some new buttons lower down on the dress? There are a couple of drawbacks to this. For one thing, you're gonna have to find buttons that match the dress pretty well. Sometimes this can be difficult in certain sizes, and it will cost you money probably, so that's a drawback. And you'll have the original buttons on the straps just higher up and more visible, which some people will probably really dislike. They could get caught in your hair if you wear it down. It could get in the way of some of your other accessories if you wear outerwear or something like that. But on the whole, I think this is the better option for me, because if you're gonna leave holes in the dress anyway, you might as well only have to sew buttons on one time if you end up selling. Or I could just leave the extra buttons on, and if the person who I'm selling a dress to wants to wear them that way, they can, or they can move them down to the original buttons, and then the extra buttons will just be kind of flopping around around inside, which shouldn't really cause any problems. Lots of brands have multiple sets of buttons on their straps, and it's not a problem for those brands either. So I've got some really well-matching thread. I've got these little golden star buttons, which were the closest thing that I could find at my local craft store to the golden heart buttons, which are currently holding this dress together. He doesn't want to be on camera, but I did have my partner's help to adjust where these straps will need to be. So basically, the way you adjust strap length is you put the dress on with the straps undone, and then you have somebody else line up where you would need to be while the dress is positioned on your body the way you want it. And then I just had him leave some big old safety pins in there. This dress is currently new with tags, but by adding these buttons, it is my commitment to not selling this dress again. I really don't want to anyway, so there we go. No turning back now. Also, I am selling a ton of dresses right now because I'm trying to save up money to buy a hybrid car by the end of the year, which will really help me with my wrestling business and just make a lot of things a lot easier in my life. I'm even hoping to not have to trade in my current car so that I can give it to a friend who has been down on her luck for a while. So please, please, please help me out. Buy my brand. Buy my brand. Buy my brand. Buy my brand. Okay, I'm done. So these are the buttons that I got. I got them at Joann, my local IST craft store. You can just try passing the button through the buttonholes, and if you can do that, you're good. Now, if you could do that too easily, they're too small, but I don't think that's gonna be a problem here. So first, you're gonna need needle and thread. Here's my thread. It's as good a match as I could find. And I did double check what color thread the original buttons were sewn with, so that's dark green here. And then you want a sewing needle. Now this one's pretty big. I have a lot in my collection. This one's better, smaller. Smaller is better not just because the width is going to be easier, but because when you are working with a smaller area, you can sort of maneuver more easily. Got my little scissors right here. The way that I was taught to do hand sewing is very similar to the way that embroiderers do. Basically, you cut a long loop, but instead of threading your needle through and then tying it, tie it first, because there's a good chance you can make mistakes when you're doing hand sewing, especially if you're not familiar with it. And having the ability to take your needle off and backtrack is super valuable. So there's my little knot. I'm gonna cut the dangling ends off of it, and then I'm gonna thread it through the needle eye, like so, and give it a long trailing back. This should be good for at least 2 of these little buttons. Now I'm gonna line this up with where the button is on top. So you can see that one of the buttons is a little higher than the other. Weirdly, it's the same on both of these, so that actually might be some sort of manufacturing error or weirdness. I would expect this one to be up there, you know, like if they're going to be slanted, then have them slanted symmetrically for both sides, but oh well, I guess I'm just gonna have to try and keep things as flat and even as possible. That's probably the way to go here. So I'm lining it up with where the print falls. This is the line that my spouse measured for me. I'm going to take the star such that it's pointing upward and going to figure out where it needs to go, and then before I actually go through, I'm going to first make a stitch at the bottom, which this can be threaded through. And from here, I can make more loops. Now, normally I would do this much closer to the fabric, but I'm trying to show you what I'm doing here, so hopefully this is clearer, and pull it tight. And that is not enough to hold this securely in place. So what I usually do is just recommend going through it a couple of times. Try not to catch the fabric on the back. Try just to get on the outer shell fabric with these. Thread through the button. It's a little harder to do when you've got a safety pin in the way, and you can bypass this and make it one step by kind of pivoting the button sideways, making sure that you catch a little bit of the fabric as you go through it each time. Something I like to do to reinforce things, because I am super duper swole, is I will then catch a little bit on the other side and then feed it through in reverse. Now this is something I have had to learn to do on my own. I just kind of figured it out. I don't know if there's a specific technique that this is called or anything like that, but I find that the more you thread back and forth and catch that top layer of fabric, the more secure the button will be, and the more likely it will be to stay in one place. Now you may be wondering how to finish this off. Here's how I like to do it. I wrap the thread around the button base a couple of times, and then I take the thread, catch the fabric and a little bit of that threading loop all at once, like so. Pull that through, but leave a loop at the end, and then feed that back through, catching another loop, and then finally bring the needle all the way through. Cut this off close to the base, and there it is, ready to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and quickly do this to all of the others, and then I will show you what that looks like finished. All right, and now we've cut to the future. I've added them at the bottom, and here is how they fit together. Da-da-da-da. So as you can see, there are going to be the little original buttons hanging out right outside, but given the incredible amount of detail on this dress, I don't think anyone's going to notice or care. There we go. Let's get dressed. All right, let's get into the cord. Or should I say cords, because I did end up styling this in two different ways. I will note that I am way too overdressed for this weather. It's in like the mid to high 70s outside right now, and that is pretty warm for the amount of faux fur I have got on both of these coordinates, but we're making do because we love the fabulous looks. Let's start with where my mind had originally taken me, which is in the jacket direction. I've had this tribble fur jacket from Think Geek for many years now, long since before they went out of business, RIP. It's so great for coordinating in Lolita. The way that it's got pom-poms perfectly matches this incredible bear hat that I got on Taobao. I do have an affiliate link below for that if you want to buy it through Spree Now, which is how I got it. The vibe of this cord is that's the day the teddy bears have their picnic. If you go down to the woods today, you are meeting a Lolita bear who is on her way to a picnic. I'm pairing my patisserie in the forest dress by Metamorphose with some Roji socks, affiliate link also in the description, Dansko shoes, the casual cupcake Me Likes Tea petticoat that I showed off earlier in this video, a long sleeve high neck lace blouse from Unique Vintage, and this adorable Kuma Kumia face bag. I left off the accessories because I've been having a lot of sensory issues lately, and being hot and covered in things is pretty uncomfortable, but I do have one of my homemade Mirror Me mirror brooches on, which you can buy on my Etsy. Use the code GOODBYE2023 to get 25% off everything in my Etsy store. Now taking the bear hat off, I've also got this Metamorphose brand fur headdress, which I know came from a different faux fur related set. The furs do not match, but I feel like the fur in the headdress and the brown still matches the print well enough that this kind of just goes together. I've got a brown fabric rose clip from the Lolita Collective and a pin-on head bow by Me Likes Tea. Overall, I actually really love the look of this headdress. That is why I did my makeup to kind of look like I've got some like flush going on. I really wanted this to look like I'd been out in the snow and was really cold and had just come inside and was looking for some hot cocoa or something. So this is less teddy bear picnic and more just I am a furry creature headed to a picnic in the forest. I know a lot of you probably also have questions about this Kuma Kumi bag. It is the most practical brand bag I have ever seen. I've heard that the Ida bags are even bigger on the inside, but to give you a sense of how much stuff this can hold, this is a lot. This is good. And there's a pouch on the back too for like, you know, your bus card or your ID or whatever you want to put in your key items pocket, I guess. Overall, I feel so fabulous. This dress was absolutely worth the wait to be able to coordinate the way that I wanted it to. I've been literally waiting since 2021 to be able to do this, so it's kind of a dream come true. And to be able to do it on Thanksgiving Day, and then immediately change out of it so that my in-laws never see me like this in person and make interesting remarks about how I've spent my money, still happened, and all of you are here to witness. I hope you can tell how well the dress fits me, especially with the buttons moved. In a lot of my previous Metamorphose videos especially, I have not been able to find the time to move the buttons and or add new buttons, so I have just been wearing them at the default, and it's super high-waisted and it kind of looks immature to me. This being a classic look, I really wanted it to be like full-on classic Lolita. So I hope that I accomplished that at least, and it really is so much more comfortable. I cannot recommend doing the modifications enough. I've been getting a lot of messages asking if I am going to Ursa Major in December in San Francisco. The answer is I hope so. I don't really know. I did buy a ticket for Sunday because I was worried that they would sell out. I'm not sure if I'll be able to go more than one day. My work schedule has been hectic, and then with all the wrestling stuff going on and end of year projects I've got, it's just very, very hard for me to get out of the house, let alone across the bay. And I'm still hustling to try to get that car going. So please, again, check the description. I've got affiliate links to a bunch of Taobao things. I got a link to my lace market. If you mention that you saw me on YouTube via DM before placing a bid or buying an item, I will give you free shipping. How's that for incentive? So yeah, do the YouTube engagements, like this video, share it if you know somebody who needs the information on how to add buttons to your JSK straps. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I know that about less than half of you are subscribed when you're watching these, so please do subscribe because it does help me out a lot. And ring the notification bell because I do post videos a lot less often than I used to, and I live stream a lot more often than I used to. So in order to get notifications that those things are happening, please do ring the bell. All right, I'm gonna go change into something more socially appropriate with an elastic waistband so that I can eat my physical weight in turkey. Gobble gobble, y'all. See you in the next video or whatever. Bye.